This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And on your next trip to Walt Disney World, when you're planning it, why not make it a lot easier on yourself? Sure, you can book the hotel and dining reservations on your own, but why should you? You should have other things to do. Why not have a travel agent at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel do all that stuff for you? In fact, it's the same price as doing it on your own, and they'll do all that work for you. So that way you can focus on the really interesting things that you're going to be doing on this next trip that's going to be new for you. So check them out. Visit them at www.mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, July 22nd, 2009, and this is episode 594 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. Don't forget that this Sunday, July 26th at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern is our next live show. 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, WDWToday.com has all the details this Sunday, July 26th. And I'm going to, hopefully be on the live show, is Len Testa, co-author of The Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome, Len.
Ta-da! How's it going?
Outstanding.
What was that? I could just see him like popping out of a box. Ta-da!
Exactly.
Like, look at me.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
And also joining us on today's show is Mike Newell of MouseWorldRadio.com. Welcome, Mike.
I can't believe that the live show is this quick. Like July just flew
I
by.
know.
Oh my god.
And the Magic Meets live show will be right on its heels.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, not even. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Not even.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much work. Too much work.
And also joining us on today's show is Annette Owens, the Manager of Customer Relations and Group Services for MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And Annette, if Scopa doesn't show up for a show one of these days, I think we should just kick him off once and for all. I mean, we all wanted it anyway. And, we'll have an opening. So, if you
Really? Uh-oh.
Well, if we happen to get a check made out to my middle name, which is Cash,
Matt
perhaps
Cash.
Hochberg. That does
right.
not flow.
Perhaps then the wheels of progress can be greased a little bit.
Exactly.
I wonder if
the skids of progress can be greased.
As long as I don't have to do the gray hair thing, I'm good.
Okay, just come up with stupid intros from old attractions and you'll be perfect.
I'm thinking we can call Heliopolis and have him draw Annette up, and we'll take Scope out.
That's right.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Just like Stalin, just get rid of all the references to the people that have been wiped away.
Persona non grata.
So now that we've done all that, live show. I'm up in the air. I don't know if I'll be there. So.
Oh, great. Pulling a scope already, are we?
I know.
Well, it's Wednesday, and we're answering listener questions. And before we answer some listener questions, we actually have some suggestions from one of our listeners, two of our listeners, actually. Do you guys remember on episode 589, we had proposal ideas for David?
Yes.
And we have two ideas from our listeners. I thought we would quickly mention them. First one's from Tara, who writes, how about this one? He could go to Animal Kingdom Lodge for the night vision viewing that he mentioned and do it there. It would be very unexpected and unique. To help make the ring really shine, he could get a glow-in-the-dark ice cube from the bar and put it inside the ring box. It would be hard to photograph at the moment, but it will still be very memorable. He better not wait too long onto the trip, or she might have to say no. So that's one idea from.
Ooh, that's not a bad. I mean, it's a great location.
Oh yeah, not going to expect that at all. I mean, why would you expect to get proposed to when you're going to look at Gazelle?
I wonder what that ring would look like with those glasses.
I was thinking the same thing.
Also, Tony from DeKalb, Illinois, who is also known as Epcot's My Favorite at WDWToday.com.
Hoorah.
Right, that's Mike.
I forgot it was a question show. I bring up the sounds folder now.
He writes, hi, Matt, Mike, Len, and the fabulous Annette. I exceeded in the number of attempts at signing into the website. Must have been fat fingers. So I was unable to there you go. So I was unable to post a comment in the show notes. I've got an idea for the guy from New York who plans on proposing to his girlfriend during Wishes, and I'm surprised no one else mentioned it. My suggestion, make reservations and take her to the California Grill, have something to eat, and some nice wine beforehand, take her outside and propose to her there. It'll be very romantic, and as Len mentioned, you'll have the glass of wine to help the odds a little bit.
Exactly.
Anyways,
I just hope she really is going to say yes, because wow, what the rest of the vacation could go really downhill.
Yeah, really.
Time for some real questions, though. And the first one's going to be from Darren Whitco of Middlebury, Connecticut. Writes, I'm heading down for Tiki Fest in August, but first staying...
Hey, me too.
But first staying opening night at Bay Lake Tower. We'll have a Magic Kingdom view and everything. Most people would agree that Bay Lake Tower is truly a beautiful building and will no doubt be in a lot of family vacation photos this summer. So, I've been scouring every Walmart trying to find the biggest and brightest World Wrestling Entertainment beach towel to drape over the balcony railing, like I'm drying it off from being at the pool. I'm thinking one of Hulk Hogan. How long do you think it'll be before management knocks on my door asking me to remove it? Anyone care to make this interesting?
Yeah, you might go 2 days.
I really don't think they'll care, but yeah. Next email is from Marty from Chicago. It's, hi, gang. Love the show. Odd question for you. My brother is Averman in the Mighty Ducks, all 3 movies, and he went down in 1994 to what was then the MGM Studios to put his handprints into cement outside the Great Movie Ride. Anyway, on my recent trip, I wanted to take a picture of it since it's been 15 years. I couldn't find it anywhere. Looked all over, even asked a cast member. The cast member wasn't sure, so I asked if he had a supervisor or someone more familiar with the layout. Sure enough, he called someone. Within a minute, someone had come out to see me. I told him what I was doing, and in short, he went back into his office and pulled out a complete listing and a map of the celebrities currently on the Walk of Fame. My brother was not there. So I guess the question is, where is the concrete block? I understand he's far from the most famous person that's done this, but as the pictures show, he did do this. They probably had it out there for a period of time and have since shifted it out. I'm certain Disney has this stored somewhere, but where and who can I ask so I can take a picture of it for my brother? This is kind of a big deal for me, and I'd really like to get the current picture, even if it's trapped in some storage place like the Ark was at the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Matt, since you know all things studios, I was really hoping you can point me in the right direction. Thanks a ton. Hope this made some sense and love the show. If it's entirely possible it's in storage. The other place I would check is on the Beauty
Mouse Surplus.
Get your own original.
So for our listeners who don't know, Mouse Surplus is a liquidator that sells unused or no longer used theme park merchandise. MouseSurplus.com.
Yeah, it's but I would actually check. There's actually handprints outside of the Beauty and the Beast theater as you're walking in. You'll see some there. It might be there. I wouldn't bet on it. Your other option, Marty, send an email to Disney. They're pretty responsive about these kinds of things, especially, things that don't fall into the usual type of emails they get, and I think this would certainly be it. So give that a shot. I'll try to check out in the studios next time I'm there to see if I can find anything, but I would probably go with contacting Disney directly and seeing what they can do, if anything, for you. But
I never thought about them taking them away.
Yeah. Oh, they have to. They probably have way more than they.
Well, as Newell will say, good luck, bro.
Yes, I say that.
Next email is from Chuck Denyer of Maryville, Tennessee. So my wife and I have been to Walt Disney World 4 times now, and we have used the crowd calendar on the unofficial guide for every trip.
Yeah.
The unofficial guide has helped us pick the perfect times to visit the park. We are new DVC members now and will frequently need to make our reservations as much as 11 months in advance. My question is this. Is the crowd calendar on the unofficial guide as accurate 11 months out as it is with, say, 5 months out? Do you update the crowd calendar on the unofficial guide immediately for each month based on the crowds that were actually on hand? Thank you for all your hard work on the unofficial guide and WDW Today.
Thank you. So the crowd calendar is generally the most accurate after Disney posts the Extra Magic Hour schedule and the Park Hour schedule. So typically within 90 days. I don't think there's any difference between there's very little difference between 11 months out and 5 months out in terms of predictions. The only thing that we would that would make it more accurate is if we actually change the model that we use, or if we tune it. That generally happens once or twice a year, so maybe. But the big jump in accuracy is what you would see about 90 days out. What was the other part of the question?
Is it? I mean, how often do you update it?
Oh, geez, at least once a month. Although, Fred is probably working on it constantly, fine-tuning things. Recently, we've been getting Twitter feeds, so we have at Touring Plans on Twitter. People are sending us wait times on that. So if you're in the theme parks, by the way, please send us wait times to at Twitter. And we're using that in our wait time models now. So Fred's really updating stuff on an almost daily basis now.
Cool. Next email is from Jason Ludlow, family of Salt Lake City, Utah. All right, hello, Matt, Mike, Len, and Annette, if applicable. It's applicable today. My wife and I are planning a grand gathering family reunion for her family. We have 7 adults and 8 children, ages 2 to 11, going with us. We plan on going to Walt Disney World in mid-September over mine and my son's birthdays. This is my wife and mine 5th trip, but first trip for her parents. My father-in-law was in Vietnam and developed a tremendous fear of heights and, quote, thrills. This fear has kept him away from the local amusement park, and despite the enjoyment his children have had of growing up and working at that park, his lifelong fear of heights hasn't kept him from flying, but is keeping him from getting excited about this upcoming family reunion. My question is, what can my wife and I do to help my father-in-law get excited about this Walt Disney World trip before we actually leave? What is there at Walt Disney World for one person in a group who doesn't like riding rides? I think, first of all, you should probably get the Disney World Planning DVD. It's free. You just order it. Just Google Disney World DVD planning video, and they'll send it to you over the mail. It can take a couple weeks, but you'll get it. And sit down as a family and kind of watch all these things. We've talked about this in the past, but I think for your father-in-law, I think this will really help in terms of getting a handle for it. I think more than anything, more so than even the actual fear of heights or fear of the thrill rides, is that anticipation. That nervousness you get about something you're unfamiliar with. And I think seeing the video might help put some of his fears away. I mean, if there's anything, I think we'd all agree that Disney World is not. It's not based around thrill rides and scaring the bejesus out of you. Unlike maybe Six Flags or something like that. I mean, the thrill rides that do exist, they're not all that many, and you can still quite thoroughly enjoy Walt Disney World without having to give into people who into attractions that have heights or are considered quote thrill rides.
Also, don't forget there's shows. I mean, there's some shows that someone that doesn't want to do the thrill rides, they definitely could see the shows.
Oh yeah.
Epcot in itself, back in World Showcase, is a lot of exploring and digging in.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing I would say too is you want to, if it all gets to be too much, because Disney's loud too, right?
Right.
If that all gets to be too much, you want to find good places to relax inside the park, and I think we've done a couple of shows outlining those. That would be useful as well. Good information to have anyway.
Cool. Next email is from Tim in Denver, who writes, first off, Len, you are a god. We are cut from the same mold. You have helped my touring of Walt Disney World beyond comprehension.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Thanks,
Mom.
Yeah, really.
I mean, go ahead.
My question. During the marathon, I did the buy 4, get 3 free offer. And also, I'm going to do it again with my wife and my niece and my nephew. It's still July. This July for 2 weeks. Problem is, I'm an annual pass holder, as are all the others. I downgraded the tickets in the package to one-day tickets, but now I'll have 8 single tickets on 8 different hotel keys. My question is, do these unused tickets, or more precisely, never used tickets, need to be used by the person on the key, or can I apply any of these unused tickets to anyone? Or in other words, will I be applying these unused tickets to my tickets for the next 8 years?
I think it's probably Disney's policy to apply them to the person whose name is on the ticket.
What if you produce the body? What if you and Dawn got one? You know what I mean? What if you and Dawn got one, right? And Dawn came with you, your wife, and you said, well, I want to use Dawn's ticket here for my annual pass. And, here she is. She's waving. She smiles. Would they take that?
They would, it depends on the cast member. My guess is that there are probably rules against it, but, I think in the overall scheme of things, Disney probably wouldn't care. The question, though, is can you add 8 at once? I think there's a limit of 2 or 3, isn't there?
There's a limit. It's either 2 or 3. That's what I was going to interject, is there's a limit.
Yeah, there's a limit of 2 or 3 that you can add. So you can get a couple of them back. But if
you said he did 2 trips, right? One in January, one in July. So each of them would have 2 one-day tickets then.
Right.
Makes sense. Next email is from Jamie, who writes, the subject of the email is not easy being green or touring with 2 infants. Dear Walt Disney World Today crew and guests, I'm writing to you with another couple questions. This is my 3rd time, and you have always been gracious enough to answer. My name is Jamie Hagel, and I'm calling from Wakanda, Illinois. My husband and I are taking our 2 daughters, 9 months and 20 months old at the time of travel, to Walt Disney World soon. Are we crazy? Yes, of course. But with the unofficial guide and touring plans, I feel we're going to survive. So my question is this.
I love these letters today.
They're answering their own questions.
Sorry. Does Disney offer reusable shopping bags at Disney? I bought some great ones at the Disney store, but I didn't want to pack them and take them with us. I think they do have those bags at World of Disney, at Downtown Disney. I'm not sure if they
do.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, yeah.
But in terms of in the parks, I've never seen them. Can you guys?
No, I think they're probably... No, I don't think so, no.
But
Do you think you'd see them in Animal Kingdom, though? I've never seen them, but you would think.
Good point. Yeah, you would think, but I don't know.
Yeah, I always go and ask for, my leopard skin bags, and they just never bring those out there. No matter how many times I complain about it. I don't understand.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Doesn't match your outfit.
That must be it. Yeah, my leopard print that I always wear out. Jamie also has my second question is regarding...
Why, Matt? Why?
Just call me...
God, make it stop. Make the pain stop. Make the pain stop.
Jamie adds, my second question is regarding the touring plans. I use a guest with disability card when touring the parks. Mm-hmm. Will the touring plan still be useful to get since we have 2 children now? Thank you again in advance for answering the questions and for making my drive to work so entertaining.
Yeah, so Disney's policy on the guest assistance card is that it's not a front of the line card. Although, you may get slightly better treatment at some attractions by some cast members than others. The important thing to note about the touring plan is it still tells you, relatively speaking, which attractions are going to be more or less crowded at different times of the day. So it's still useful to follow the general order of the touring plan, even if you've got some other mechanism for seeing the rides. So yeah, it's still useful.
Okay, makes sense. Next email is from Mike Goodson of Nashville, Tennessee. All right, hello everybody, long-time listener, first-time caller. We're heading to the world in December 2009 and are going to be there for my birthday. I wanted to do two things with my birthday. One, drink around the world at Epcot, and two, have a great dining experience, including alcohol. On our last trip to Disney, we had dinner one night at Raglan Road and really enjoyed the Irish whiskey flight along with the Irish beers.
Nice.
Ah, yes.
Nice.
We went to the world this past December and found the unofficial guide in touringplans.com indispensable. Thanks in advance for your help. So I guess he's looking for a similar experience. He didn't say a question per se, but I think he's looking for a similar experience. So if there's anyone on this show to answer about eating and drinking specifically, that would, of course, be Annette. So Annette, go ahead.
This is such a Len question.
I know it is. I was
Please.
So Len.
Please. It's not desserts. When it comes to desserts, come
Yeah,
to
right.
me.
So I'm
She
thinking.
so
I
doesn't
mean,
get the
obviously,
joke.
I think Epcot's the preferred park. There's a beer flight at the UK Pavilion that's a beer sampler that's pretty good. I think it's like $10 or $11 for five. I think it's 5-ounce samples. And that's a lot of fun. And also the bar there is pretty well stocked. I mean, we've tried eating around the world. We should definitely try drinking around the world.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, could you imagine? I mean, we couldn't do beers. We'd have to do shots.
I like actually Beer Garden. They have the beer sampler you can get over there.
Okay, so I've only tried the liquor over there, the stronger alcohol, but then that was kind of nasty actually. But
No, but I've had the beer sampler over there at Beer Garden. It's actually really nice. A little selection of a lot of different kinds of beers. So if you're a beer drinker, Mike, that would actually be a really a good option for you to try out over there.
cool, good.
Yeah. The only other thing I would recommend is if you go to a restaurant like Citrico's, we had they actually have the opportunity over there. Ask your server about wine tastings, and they can, when you're ordering your meal, say, what wine would go with this. And they actually brought us samples to try of the wine to see if we were going to like it or not, so we didn't have to.
Really?
Yeah, it was really nice. So, maybe it's a Citrico's thing, or I don't know what, but definitely check that out.
I do love Citricos.
Remember we did a while ago, back in February, we did an email about, I think one of our listeners, Kevin, sent in his reviews of some of the places he ate. And our next emailer is from Brett Ward of New Hampshire, who writes,
Brett.
The cousin Mickey doesn't talk about blogspot.com. And he wrote, I agree with most of the points you guys made in your recent podcast episode. My wife and I got the deluxe dining plan and hit a ton of places. I then went and reviewed most of these places on my blog. Here's what I found. So he ranked them poor. This is overall. Poor, average, or recommended. And under poor, he had Yak and Yeti, Artist Point, and Citrico's. Wow, I love Citrico's. That's surprising to me that he didn't like that. For average, he had Liberty Tree Tavern, Primetime Cafe, The Wave, the restaurant in Morocco, and the restaurant in Mexico. So that's Restaurant Marrakesh and San Angel Inn. And recommended, the California Grill, Narcoossee's, Chefs de France, Hoop de Doo Review, and Cafe Kona, or Kona Cafe probably.
Kona Cafe, yeah.
You're right. So the sad part is that most of the ones that fell into average would have been recommended if you didn't need a second mortgage to dine at them. That's amazing considering all of them are only one dining credit on the dining plan. If I didn't have the dining plan, I probably wouldn't have eaten there again. What's really sad is that 2 of the 3 in that I gave awful reviews to are signature dining experiences that cost 1 firstborn child and 2 credits on the dining plan. Take price out of the equation, and Artist Point and Citrico's barely hit average. There is just no hope for Yak and Yeti. The unofficial guide is mostly...
That's
Yeah.
interesting. So
I disagree with that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
The unofficial guide is mostly accurate. I think the only place where I disagree is with Yak and Yeti and Citrico's. I really like Citrico's. I really thought it was really good.
I do too. So that might, I mean,
And San Angel Inn as
Yeah, I know. That's a good point, Mike. I didn't like that one at all.
yeah.
I do actually, but the times that I've been to San Angel Inn have been, I mean, almost invariably like last table of the night. And I don't know if it's because everyone's more relaxed, or maybe it's because by that time I'm actually drinking quite a bit. I don't know.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Citrico's is interesting. We might have to stop by there again, see what it's like.
Research trip.
That's right.
What?
Next email's from Dave from Boston, who writes, Go Celtics. I was listening to the water parks episode, and something stuck out to me. when Len was accused of screaming like a girl on one of the water slides. Mr. Scopa then seconds that by saying that he's been on roller coasters with Len. I was curious if this was true and if any of the rest of you are screamers on roller coasters too. Maybe you guys could tell how it is to ride with each other on some of the more intense rides. I can't really picture Len as a screamer, but I could definitely see Matt as one. Ha 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 ha. Keep up the good work on WDW Today crew.
That would be a great show. Just to all of us riding together and pick out which scream is which.
The only ride for me that I really would I don't so much scream as I do cry is Dinosaur. But most of the rides like Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, Space Mountain, I've been on them so many times. I think you guys would all agree that it's not quite. We're not at the point of screaming anymore. But in terms of like, well, I don't know about you guys, but when I ride like I tried out Universal not too long ago, and I rode some rides I'd never been on before, and there was definitely some excitement, some woohoos, and so Annette, would you consider yourself a screamer on roller coasters?
Maybe. Well, Rock and Roller Coaster, I typically sing.
Yeah, that's true.
Tower of Terror, no. But if you put me on something that I don't know what to expect, I think you're right.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. Next email is from somebody who didn't leave their name. Remember, in your emails, put your name and where you're from. Writes, hi, first off, I want to say I love the podcast. I've been listening since I found out my family and I were going to Walt Disney World in April. I have a few questions. The first night we get there, my family and I are going to sightsee in downtown Disney. Is there any fantastic places or shops in downtown Disney that is a must-see? Annette, any places that you can recommend in terms of what are must-sees at downtown Disney for you?
For me, I have to make a trip to World of Disney because where else can you see that much stuff for sale with Mickey Mouse on it? It's just amazing the stuff they've got in there. You could get lost in there. I always have to do the candy shop, which is just sad.
Which one? Which candy shop specifically? The Ghirardelli's or the other one?
Oh, no. I'm not talking about that one. I'm going over to, is it Goofy's? It's over by Rainforest.
Okay, yeah, I know which one. Yeah, Goofy's, you're right.
Got to go in there. Yeah, Goofy's. You got to look at all the candy. You got to watch the apples being made.
I know one that, when we're talking about must-dos at downtown Disney, Mike, I know your wife is a huge fan of that soap place, right?
Oh, yeah.
Basin.
Yeah.
Something like that. Oh, God, we make, I think, 2 trips. Every trip, we're there twice.
Yeah, I mean, and you're a big fan of the bath bombs, right? Because then you don't have to clean the tub.
Well, you clean the tub.
That's what they're called, seriously.
They are bath bombs.
That's right. All right. My other question is, what is Fantasmic all about? My family and I are going to the dinner and a show type thing that Disney offers, and the show is Fantasmic. Once again, love the podcast. Hope to get a reply really soon. Fantasmic's a nighttime show. It's not really so much about fireworks as there is actually a story about it. What I'll actually do for you, unknown emailer who's probably already back from Walt Disney World and discovered it on your own, is I'll put a link in the show notes to the Studio Central write-up on Fantasmic so you can get a better idea of what it is in case you skipped it. Time for another email, and we'll go with Steven, who writes, I've heard a rumor that if you get Tinkerbell gift shop as soon as the Magic Kingdom opens, that you can actually, quote, wake up Tinkerbell for the day. Is this true? We have a 2.5-year-old that's more into Tinkerbell than the princesses at this point, and would like to know if this is true prior to our September trip. It's true. Although we've heard from a couple different people and some cast members that they actually do it a couple other times during the day. It just depends on the moods of the cast members.
Yeah, you don't have to
be... the guaranteed way, I guess we should put it, is that you get there first person in the morning to do it. But again, we've heard from other listeners and other cast members that, in fact, it does happen a couple of other times during the day. It's just, not as scheduled. Stephen adds, I love your podcast. I got my first iPod for Christmas and have all your podcasts loaded for my runs throughout the week. My wife thinks it's weird that I don't listen to music on my iPod. Then again, I think it's weird that she's 33 and follows New Kids on the Block around.
So she doesn't listen. She doesn't listen to the podcast.
Great. Well, it's time for our last question of the day, and that means
we totally need a song intro for this.
Yeah,
we really do.
You're right.
Well, the guy who writes our music for us went to Europe. Jared, who wrote the WDW.
Oh, yeah,
so they don't play music over in Europe? They're not allowed to play?
Apparently, you can't compose music in Europe. Apparently, no music has ever been composed in Europe.
That's right.
In the past.
Really,
So
I thought the Who was the first band ever. So, yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, all right.
All right, anyway, it's time for our last question of the day, and that means that I will give Mr. Newell 3 questions to possibly answer. One will be answered today. The other 2 will go back into the email queue to be answered at another time. Mike, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, here are your options. First option is somebody get me Annette. Question number 2 is convince me to stay at Scopa Towers. And question number 3, Polyrooms, balcony or not?
Well, I have to make a confession. I promised Josh and Sarah that I would pick the first question tonight, regardless of what it was. So,
Really?
You gotta
Why is
be
that?
kidding me.
yeah, I was talking to him in chat just 2 minutes ago, and he says, pick the first question, no matter what it is. So, for him, I said I would do that.
Thanks, Josh.
And of course, we should say congratulations to Josh and Sarah, who are getting married this weekend, actually.
Give yourself a bail.
Is it this weekend?
Yeah, July
25th, right?
25th, yeah.
25th.
Oh, that's right.
We must have missed that invitation too, Len.
Speak for yourself.
I said Len.
Yeah, right. I say, Josh, just remember the escape plan and the high sign. All you have to do is look nervous.
Anyway, our last question of the day, as chosen by...
Actually, did I say Josh? I meant Sarah. Sarah, all you have to do is look nervous.
Our last question of the day, chosen by Newell, but mostly Josh, is from Ian from Virginia, who writes, hey, Matt, Mike, Len, and the lady Annette. Long-time listener, first-time emailer. I consider myself a Walt Disney World veteran, not quite in your categories, but well adept at planning and getting the most out of my time there. I am technically a Florida resident, which makes me available for Florida resident discounts, and I usually visit the world in October for food and wine, as it helps combine my wife's passion with mine. You've often recommended using MEI or Mouse Fan Travel or as Disney-specific travel agency to book a trip, even for veterans due to cost savings. Could you let me know how one of those organizations could best help me as a Florida resident, and what types of information they have that can help save on a trip? Annette?
Well, yeah, that definitely is me, huh? The one thing that we can help you with, since you're a veteran at it, we can work with you to help you plan your trip. We're gonna be right on the phone the day those discounts come out. Those Florida residence rates are announced. We're gonna take care of that for you, so you don't have to do that for yourself. We can do your dining for you. We can make all those arrangements for you. There's no charge to you. Disney's paying us, so you're not going to pay any more than you were before, and you're just not going to have to work as hard.
Yeah, that's the way I always see it. I mean, that's what I always say in the ad reads anyway, and it's the truth. I mean, I've done those. I've made my own reservations. I've called 1,000 times for dining, but if you can have someone else do it for you, why not? You know?
I think the other extra thing too is those extra little things that you might want to do. You might have some questions about. You might, I've always done this. What's something special we can do? That's something that we can pull our resources together. That all our agents talk to each other to help plan trips for, and special things. We all talk about different things we've done for clients. We can help you plan those special occasions too.
Ian adds, as much as I enjoy the planning aspect of our trips, I am all for working with people who have more info than I do and can help save me some money. He writes also, as long as you're reading, I'll be bringing my son to the world for his first trip in October. He'll be 6 months old, although that may sound insane. I will be enlisting my parents to help care for him while we're there, so I should be okay. I want to make sure I have an appropriate accommodations for him, but I've never seen the cribs they use on property. Could you let me know if they are super junky and if it's worth borrowing a pack and play from a friend close by if we can obtain one? Any other thoughts you would have would be much appreciated. And that, have you what kind of response have you gotten from? Maybe this is a question for Len in the reader reviews. I mean,
aren't the
They're
cribs
pack
that they
and
have?
plays.
They are pack and plays, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what I was sitting here going, wait a minute. I think they're pack and plays.
They are pack and plays.
And the ones that I have seen, they look brand new. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen the pack and plays, and they look like they haven't moved.
Yeah.
They look brand new.
I don't think they get as much work or as much use as you would think.
Cool. Right. Thank you so much for the great work. I listen to the podcast on my weekly train travels, and it's always fun. P.S. Loved Hotchberg's appearance on the Vans podcast. It's nice to know that there are other Disney nuts out there like me.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Ian. And that's it for us today. Don't forget that this episode of WDW Today has been sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. So, Ian, when you're planning your trip to Walt Disney World, even though you live in Florida, it's not an excuse not to use MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. We all use them for planning our trips to Walt Disney World. And you know what? It just makes your life easier. Like Annette said, we'll let them take care of those other things so that you can work on some planning the more interesting things that are to you that are going to be new for you on that trip. If you need help or you need a partner in it, that's what the travel agents, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, are there for. So try them out. Visit them online at www.mousefantravel.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the WDW Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Lancaster, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and the fabulous Annette Owens. We love you, Annette. I'm Matt Hotchberg. We'll see you on the next show. Love you, Newell.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.